Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Neil with his fantastic film, Fishmonger. Let's take another clip.
Oh dear God, no, no! I've come to wish for a woman's hand in marriage.
I don't do that sort of thing anymore.
Excuse me?
Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you.
We'll never let you go now, that's it.
It's an honor to be involved. I love you guys. It's been amazing so far. And everyone that you bring into the family, all the other films we screened with last night, they were amazing. I felt so honored to be playing with all these amazing filmmakers.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm never ever going to forget your film. It's going to be in my head, and I'm going to be wondering all the sea monsters and creatures that are living there. But for those that haven't seen it,
Sure.
Tell us a brief synopsis.
Yeah, so Fishmonger is a supernatural dark comedy about this pathetic Irish fishmonger who has to survive a sex pact with this ancient fish creature in order to save his mother from burning in hell. So,
But no, I'm just like, when there's synopsises and your one is like another level. Like, my goodness me, how could you not be intrigued to watch this film? Then I watched it. And my goodness me, I am obsessed with the world that you created for us. Like, it's like a universe that I just want to observe rather than be in it. But it was incredible. Now, question is, with your amazing imagination, where did the inspiration come? Where did this story come? Tell us, please, how that all began.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would be remiss not to mention 16 years of Catholic schooling is a huge part of that. And, you know, like, I love my family, but like marriage pressure is also a part of all of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get really stressed out when I write. I love writing, I hate writing. And I had to pitch for our AFI thesis, films and all that. And I was like flipping through books and photos and all these things, and I found this photograph of this, it was like an, you know, vintage National Geographic photo of this Nova Scotian fisher from like the 1910s. And it just kind of like immediately, something about his face and the ocean behind him, I just knew that he was rowing out to go have sex with some sort of weird creature. And he didn't want to, but he was like doing it for a noble reason. Like, for whatever reason, that just, I knew that much. And so that was just clear, I mean, from the photograph. And so then figuring out like the why and the how of like, what was going on. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think I love folk tales. I love Pee Wee Herman and those kind of things. I grew up in that sort of world. And so trying to find a story that can be ridiculous and sincere at the same time is sort of part of it all, where, you know, you've got these characters that believe in what they're doing sincerely, but from the outside, it's like totally absurd and ridiculous. So.
I realized that I fell in love with the sea monster too, watching your film. Like, I literally was like, thought that she was incredible. Like, I just was like, oh my goodness, like, she is quite something, like, amazing. But like, you know, it was just the arc of all the characters. You had very lovable characters. All the characters were just fascinating to me. You know, and obviously the fishmonger and everything he went through. But how on earth did you cast this? Like, this is a little bit of an acting dream, like, for people, because they get to play in the most magical way with what you created for them. But also, like, how on earth do you cast something like this, and how did you bring this amazingly talented team together?
Absolutely. I mean, the people, you know, Donla, who played Sinead, Dom, who played Christy, everyone that was involved. I mean, casting was a long process. Like, I love actors so much. I worked in theater before coming to film, and it is one of my favorite things to do, but like, trying to cast this film during COVID when everyone from Ireland was gone. And so we're trying to find someone who can, you know, who is Irish or British, and someone that understands. I mean, the biggest thing, whether it's casting or sound or score, is finding someone that just kind of gets what we're doing. And a part of getting what we're doing is finding it as well. And so, people would come in for auditions, everyone was wonderful, but some people would come in and be like, I love this. It's so crazy. I love crazy stuff. I'm so here for it. And usually that's actually a bit of a red flag because it's like, all right, like we'll see how this goes and it might work out. But Donla came in, and they were immediately like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but this is an incredibly sad story. And that's when it's like, oh, you get what we're doing here. Because the world is so bizarre, but for each and every one of these characters, they're living a drama. You know, Christy's trying to save his mother's soul. He's trying to save his mom. Sinead has been burned before by so many people, and she has this chance to connect after years of being hurt by people. And I think that's the thing, when you're on set, that's what we're always playing at. So finding those people that understand that, like, it's this weird comedy, but, every time, I mean, the biggest note that we would all come to, we'd do a take, and, Dom, everyone was so amazing. We'd be like, should we do it more vulnerable? And they'd be like, let's do it more vulnerable. And we just kind of keep going there, which I love, because at the end of the day, that's what the story really is. It's like weird and it's wild and it's gross and it's maybe a little scary, but at the end of the day, it's all about love and people trying to connect. And we get labeled horror sometimes, and we get labeled comedy, and like in the horror world, the sort of like secret I have is that, like, I love Pixar and I love Finding Nemo, and like we want that kind of experience. So when you get to the end and Sinead and Christy are there, you want them to find love in each other.
I know,
because that's what we're doing on this planet. I know, and we always just get pulled away from each other, and all we want to do is like give love, receive love, be seen by someone. And so I love to get to that point when they shine. Dom and Donla shine so much in that. So
well, I mean, it was so beautifully emotional. Like, I did actually have a little tear. I had a tear in my eye.
That's great.
Really
I love
did.
that. I love that so
I
much.
really did. Like,
that's like the ultimate goal.
Oh God, because again, I think we're on this planet for such a limited time, and we all want to feel validated, appreciated, and loved. Give and return, and everything else like that. And for this bizarre story, and I love how it's always great when you can cross genres and what it appears to be on the outside, but then inside, you've got this very dramatic, kind of love story between two, humans or creatures, in this case. But I think what I loved about not just the main cast, the ensemble, they all just were in it all together. It felt like a really fantastically, everyone in your film seemed to just really immerse themselves into it. Like, how did you create that as a director?
I mean, a part of it is, I think so much happens during casting, and it's finding those people. And so, Ron, who played Captain Mulligan, Mark, who played Father Heaney, Mary, who played Kathleen, all of them. And part of it was figuring out, what kind of actor do we need? And we actually stumbled onto the closest we could find for sort of a thread was if someone has maybe played a role on Star Trek, because what that usually means is they have Shakespearean training, but they're also used to doing it in weird makeup and weird costumes. But in the world of Star Trek, no one's being goofy. They take themselves so seriously, and if their planet is imploding, they're about to deliver a monologue about that. And so, finding that, but also I think, it's the kind of thing where if the cast and I are taking this very seriously, and the production crew, the Shiyu, our production designer, was building these amazing sets out of $2 and some thread and all that, and we had John Graney, our score composer, and all these people showing
Such a great
up.
Score, yeah.
The score, and it's this kind of thing where I feel like if you can create a climate where everyone is playing pretend at the highest level and bringing their emotional selves, but also having fun and finding that, that kind of balance.
And you had a lot of a mix of emotions in there as well, but I just want to say, it was very well shot.
Our cinematographer, Jack McDonald, I love him like a brother. We just, if I could shoot with him all day long and be the best, he's just he's a visual genius, but also he is such an amazing storyteller as
Yeah.
well. So as we'd be shot listing, we'd be talking about all the emotional beats and about what we're feeling. So yes, Jack is amazing. I just have to say
your
that.
production design and prosthetics, like the whole creature that you made, felt like, oh, Sinead could have a series of her own. You know,
Robert Bocage and Symbolic Arts, they came in and they saved our butts in such a big way, and they cut us so many discounts, which was so amazing of them. And I think, you know, it's the kind of thing where we showed up at their door, we're like, oh, like we have no money and we're trying to do this thing, and they were like, no one's trying to do this kind of stuff. We would love to help you, which was so amazing, and it wouldn't have happened, you know, the whole film wouldn't have happened without people like Robert Bocage and everyone at Symbolic.
Okay, so where do we go from here? Like, I'm very excited. If you've created Fishmonger, what's the universe you're creating for us next? Where are we moving to?
Yeah, I mean, the immediate next step is there's a feature script for Fishmonger that we were able to write before the short, actually.
Amazing.
And we got really lucky, and we won an award at Slamdance for that. And so we're just getting that all going, which is wonderful. And, you know, to a certain extent, if the short is a bottle rocket that's fast and fun, and, you know, you hit some emotional notes, I feel like the feature is going to be the full sort of fireworks show, where if you had one tear with the short, I want to be ugly crying with the feature and all that. So there's
I'm ready to ugly cry. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Me too. And so, you know, there's that immediately. And then, you know, writing new stuff. I'm working on this sort of post-apocalyptic bioengineering dark comedy about a bunch of scientists that, you know, the last humans on Earth that live in this underground bunker, and these sort of things. So, you know, Fishmonger in the immediate future, and then working on new stories and trying to, you know, I love what people like Stanley Kubrick do, where it's like, I'm gonna do a black and white satire about nuclear war, and now I'm gonna do Barry Lyndon, this, you know, high period piece with, you know, wigs and such. So I'd love to do that and just like jump into a new world and do my version of that.
I can't wait. And Neil, I think one of the credits to you, I mean, you know, that's a brilliant award that you won at, you know, Slamdance, and also, you know, you've been getting some very good nominations as well, which is, you know, you're very proud of. Would I like to say or no?
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We just got nominated for a student Emmy, which is so exciting. I mean, it's very crazy. I mean, for our whole team, we spent years like climbing uphill trying to get this made. COVID happens. There's flash flooding when we're trying to shoot in Malibu. All these things, and it's very surreal for all of us to put it out in the world and have anyone enjoy it. It's sort of like after years of people being like, you'll never be able to make this. Also, you're all perverts for trying. You should go away. Yeah. And now it's just sort of like, oh, I think actually some people connect with it. And some people still don't, and that's totally fine.
But I think it's also, you're very defined in what in your vision, and I think that is such a powerful thing to have as a filmmaker, is when you know what you want to see and what you've created for us. And, you know, I can't wait for the feature, and I can't wait to ugly cry. With that being said, everything you've experienced in your career as a filmmaker, in making where you are up till now in your career, what advice do you have for filmmakers? What do you go by? What is your standpoint as a creative artist?
Yeah, I mean, advice is always so funny because I feel like everyone's got to find their own path, and there's not going to be a template for everyone, which is an important thing to know. But for me, I love when I sit down to write something for film, or just to write something, I want to make myself giggle, make something that I love, and also like worry about production stuff after the fact. One of the things that I loved about making Fishmonger is that there are so many weird old school film techniques and just sleights of hand. You know, we shot Malibu as Western Ireland, and it's the kind
Malibu, people. It's shot in Malibu, not Ireland, Malibu.
We're framing out palm trees, but it's the sort of thing where I feel like, for me anyway, and for some of us as artists, like to just dream whatever you need to dream, put it on paper, like if there were no holds barred, just go for it, and then find ways to implement that. And then, you know, like, because out of 10 people, 9 would always say, you know, you never have enough money, you can't do that, so you'll never be able to pull it off. There'd always be one who's like, actually, have you thought about? Yeah. And then there's this great, and especially with film, because it's all smoke and mirrors, you know, so I think, to me, that's, you know, put your weird, unique, specific vision on paper, and then you'll figure out and find a team of people who will make it a reality at somehow, some way.
Your weirdness and uniqueness is what makes you the person in the film that you want to create. So amazing. Listen, thank you so much, Neil. Thank you for Fishmonger. Ready for the extended version. Very much so, but thank you very much, and welcome to New Filmmakers family. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.